All right, I just wrapped a call with a client. He added another 20% to his forecast since we met last week. And it sounds like magic, but it's not. What happened is that through a number of very focused, high impact conversations where he cut right to the chase with some key prospects and clients, he moved opportunities forward in ways that his team wouldn't have unless we identified those opportunities and we designed actions around them. So at the end of work sessions like this with RevX clients, there are two phrases you often hear from them and from me for that matter. I've found them saying, wow, this is great. This is so useful. And you'll hear me saying, this is so much fun. And that's because a key part of my work with chief revenue officers is a tactical review of how we can close whatever gap exists between their forecast and the revenue goal. And it's often a detailed diagnostic of the top 3 deals that could make or break their quarter for their organization, or we're kicking the crap out of their forecast across various stages and teams and strategies, etc. We literally work in their CRM. We're pulling up the CRM and looking at deals, and we pick them apart, usually using MedPick, and we find very specific actions to move the deals forward to close. Why did they find it useful? Why do I find it to be so much fun? Well, because C-suite executives are always working on the business, meaning endless operational and strategic meetings or tactical review and sign-off meetings or a bunch of strategic things that really have very little to do with strategy. But most chief revenue officers miss their first love, which is selling. It's pitching clients, it's working deals. And so this gets them back to that, at least for 1 hour each week. And what we do is so useful because it's actionable, it's pragmatic, it's not uncommon that very seasoned chief revenue officers will come in and say something like, hey, Zito, I think we're doing everything we could be doing on this deal. And then I remind them that if a sales rep told them that, they would be incredibly disappointed with that sales rep. So I let them have it. And by the end of the session, they leave with 5 to 7 actions that they will take this week to push things forward and maximize revenue. They come in with their mind flooded with like 1,000 emails and Slacks and calls and meetings from the last day or hour, week, or whatever it is. And the burden that they have that there's a forecast gap to goal, but not the clarity on how their team is going to close it. But they leave our work sessions with actions tied to deals, tied to revenue that they can move on instead of hoping others will identify them and move on them, which is what should be happening, but often isn't. And it's great. It gives CROs agency. It helps give them clarity, no matter how seasoned and excellent they are. And I love it because it makes their day. It often makes their quarter. In fact, here it is a text one of my chief revenue officers sent me on June 30th, the last day of Q2. He writes, really strong finish to H1, couple deals we can clean up in early Q3. Damn good position to be in halfway into the year, largely thanks to our work together. Thank you, sir. Look, this is music to my ears. I'm grateful to be able to have this kind of impact on the executives and the organizations I work with. I'm in the trenches with them at the deal level every week. So if you want someone to partner with like this, and on a breadth of other revenue transformation topics, reach out. It'd be my pleasure to help you crush it.